Hey, welcome back to Trending on Shaw. We are live, and we are on the corner of 32nd Avenue and Barlow Trail in the Northeast. Anytime you want to scoot on by. Here's Kate. My name is Phoenix. And over here we have a great guest lineup, including Christine Conley, who's a client sales and marketing coordinator with Calgary Meals on Wheels. Great to have you here this morning. Also, conservation advisor Donna Shepard with the Calgary Zoo, and Vinci Choi, who is a registered dietitian, food writer, cooking instructor, and yes, a blogger as well too. Great to have all three of you here this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, let's get to some trending topics this morning. Of course. Oh,
that's good. Well, yeah, let's play it again. This is fun.
We just like the music.
Yeah. Why not?
All right, let's get to one of our first trending topics here after that. One woman in Alberta doesn't like the direction the school curriculum is going for high school students. She wants to see the kids get back to more of the memorization type of thing, times tables, whereas the province recently has sort of gone into a direction that is a little more learn as you want sort of feel, take tests when you want. In fact, yesterday we were just talking about the province looking at changing the schedule for exams that you could take them whenever you want. So, I don't know.
She thinks we need to be less, more stringent, more...
Yeah, more structured, I think, is kind of where she's coming from. She wants to see memorization, times tables, get back to that regular sort of curriculum that I'm sure most of us grew up with.
Right.
Well, I think the biggest argument right now is, what do we want from our kids once they graduate high school?
Yeah.
Do we want them to have all of these facts and figures in their heads, or do we want them to be motivated to go out into the world and discover new things, to go to Ghana, to try different things? And if we're so regimented, this is probably the argument, of just math and memorization, then we lose focus of what we really want our kids to achieve once they finish high school. Ladies, jump in.
I don't know. Like, I went to a high school program that was very regimented, and it was kind of that high academic achievement thing that they were trying to, like, you know,
pound into you.
Exactly. So you had to read all the books and do all these assignments and whatnot. There's just tons of work and homework, and I mean, it got me into universities, and that's where I got to go study abroad and do all that kind of stuff and explore my learning on my own. But I think that kind of learning teaches maybe not so much the math skills, because everyone forgets, you know, eventually what you learned in calculus. But it does, I think, help with the dedication it takes to, you know, sit down and focus on something, and even though you don't really want to do it, and you prefer to go, you know, learn by doing something else, you have to do this. And so it's a different skill set, I think, that maybe some kids don't respond well to, but
Donna's an adventurer.
Yep.
I can see you in high school. You're thinking, you know, I don't know if I want to learn the math stuff. I want to get out there and explore, and the creative side of you wanted to get out there and just live.
Yeah. I'm a bit anti-establishment. It was a tough place for me to be, I think, in some ways. But I think maybe the sort of pendulum swing of too rigid and then too loosey-goosey, too relaxed, something maybe shuffling into the middle, because I think you can, every child is different, and maybe what they'll strive to do and what they'll end up doing could be on the creative end, or maybe would need a lot of discipline. So
do you think maybe having two different streams that you could pick in high school?
Well, that's interesting.
Is that a crazy idea? But
I've seen that. Like, I went to school a lot in the States, and so I saw a lot of different programs down there, like where they would have schools that were the artistic schools, and so they would have different programs there that were specific. I mean, you still had to learn your arithmetic and your reading and all that stuff,
courses, yeah.
But you still had a lot more electives and a lot more of that creative expression and auditions to get into those schools, that kind of thing. So I think that there could be benefits of, you know, catering to that, so that way those students who do have that natural talent and want to explore it have that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree with Donna that I think it needs to be somewhere in the middle, that it needs to be kind of a mix, because I think part of school does need to be structured so that you do establish that discipline to, I know so many people who come out of high school and they kind of coasted through high school, then all of a sudden in university they're studying study skills. So I think we need to think of it in terms of skills, memorization, not really, I don't know if that's really an important skill, but kind of talking about study skills and talking about building skills, that's so important.
In my son's high school right now, they're actually helping the kids understand about the idea of a business, which is very fascinating. So they have courses in the woodworking and also in metal and shop, if you will.
Yeah.
But they even have a cosmetology area. It's incredible.
A lot of high schools are having that now.
Yeah, and it's so modern.
Yeah.
And you walk in there and you think, what? So what they're suggesting to the kids is that, hey, why not start a business? So get this, next fall, I believe, they're actually going to allow the kids to start up their own little business where they change tires on cars or that they cut people's hair.
Nice.
You know, and it's just, again, what do we want our kids to be like once they finish high school? You know, that they just memorize all of these
But I
facts
think
and
it's different
figures?
for every kid.
Yeah.
That's why
Without
I'm
question.
suggesting maybe that there's different routes that each kid could take.
Balance seems to be the way to go.
It's tough though, because I think, like, you know, some kids are still kind of finding themselves. So if you kind of give them streams to choose, like, I think, you know, they might end up feeling like, oh, like I went down the wrong one.
Yeah.
Like I think,
Oops.
oh,
Or they might
just-
choose
should've
the
done the
easier
other
one
thing.
because they're
Yeah.
high school students. When I was in high school, I didn't want to wake up early. I didn't want to go
Yeah.
to school. I didn't want to do my homework, but I had to, you know? Like, so
Pay for it
sometimes
later.
you need that
Yeah.
discipline and you need to kind of force kids to kind of overcome that, you know.
Yeah.
Well, the universities want to make sure that if you want to come to our university, you better have the grades, Donna,
Yeah.
or you're not coming to our university.
Yeah, you
You'll never
bet.
work for the Calgary Zoo. Look where you are today. Well, look where she is today. Her name is Donna Shepard. She's a conservation advisor with the Calgary Zoo. It's so wonderful to have you here because you're not usually in Calgary, are you?
That's a good point. I have a rather strange job description, you could say. I'm a bit of a secret part of the Calgary Zoo. I'm off grounds most of the year. I live in the continent of Africa, and I'm doing international conservation with the Conservation and Research Department, and have been living in Ghana in West Africa for the past 11 years. Yeah, so doing work there at a place called the Wichao Community Hippo Sanctuary. It's one of the sweetheart projects of the Calgary Zoo. We've been partners with them since 1998. And it was established by the chiefs and elders of 17 communities looking at protecting one of only 2 populations in West Africa of hippos. So they're, you know, hippos are really in abundance in East Africa,
have
but
some
it's not
video
the
here as
same
well,
in
too.
West Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great to show some of that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the chiefs and elders in 1998 decided to protect the hippos that they had, and then when they got started, realized that community-based conservation is quite complicated. You know, natural resource management is tough for anyone to do, and so then they started looking for partners to help them. And the Calgary Zoo got involved, paid for the first monies to do the first analysis and studies. And I was busy in South America at the time in Guyana for the Calgary Zoo in a sister zoo program. And so then I was shifted across to Ghana. I always say I have to live in countries that have G's and U's and Y's in them. So from Guyana I went to Ghana in West Africa and went up to the north of Ghana to work as technical support and live among the people and help to implement programs there. And we work, it's a kind of a different type of conservation, but in poorer countries than Canada, it's very important to look at the human side as well as benefits for nature. So it's kind of like a marriage between development and conservation. It's called community-based conservation. So we do things like, let's say, drilling borehole wells for clean drinking water. What that does is people would no longer have to walk through the protected area to go to the river to get water that's not even actually clean anyway. And then while they're in the core zone, they think, oh, maybe I'll cut down a tree, or maybe, you know.
So it's not just about the animals, it's also about the cultures.
Exactly.
And
And
the
so
people that-
people have to benefit from conservation. Conservation has to pay for itself. Yeah.
We have a picture of you here as well, too, in the most recent magazine that the Calgary Zoo actually sends out. What is the name of the magazine?
Oh, this was the magazine that was produced after the flood, just to tell the whole story about what we all did to recover from the flood, and yeah. So that's just me in my usual scenario. Yeah, I ride a motorcycle in the bush and work with scientists, and also spend time educating children on conservation work. And I have a team of local guys that I've been working with and training. And the way we try and work is to spend, you know, conservation is a slow moving engine. And so we always try to stay with people for as long as possible. And that really helps people to understand what we're all trying to achieve and move at the pace that everyone can understand rather than
a sudden influx.
to be rushing through things. So we stay for a long time and immerse ourselves within. So that's.
We're finding the Calgary Zoo surprises us every day. And with people like yourself who are doing incredible work. And really quickly, please, you brought this on set as well too. This is from Aisha. This is fantastic. So please explain what we're looking at here.
So there's so many lovely human stories. I could sit here all day telling you. But this is Aisha Bandana, and she makes tie-dyes and batiks.
It's gorgeous.
And she's been doing that for years, and I have been bringing a set back and selling them in Canada every year. And so now she's actually been able to build a house with all the money she's made from selling just tablecloths.
That's wonderful.
So it's really a nice story.
Are you going to give this away?
That's for you.
Okay.
That's for you, Phoenix. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to pass it on to our viewers well too. So
or maybe you could
incorporate here.
dress the table.
that's a great idea.
Spice it up.
Donna Shepard, she's a conservation advisor with the Calgary Zoo, because I know we have to move on because we also have somebody else
Lindy Free is down at the Humane Society with, I would assume, different kinds of animals than what you see in Africa.
Yeah.
These ones might be a little more tame. Lindy, how's it going down there at the Humane Society?
Hey guys, it sounds like you're having lots of fun at the studio, but we're having lots of fun here too at the Calgary Humane Society, and we're sitting here with Ebony. So all the animals that we show you today, you can come down and adopt. So this is very exciting. And tell us a little bit about Ebony.
So Ebony is 7 years old, and she's a pug. She came into us back in 2014 in the fall with an eye injury. So she had an injured eye, so our surgical team made the decision to remove her eye. So it was injured, she wasn't able to see out of it anymore, and just for her comfort, they performed something called an enucleation, where they just go in there, remove the eye. As you can see, it's healed up beautifully. So she has no vision on her left side, but her right eye is going strong. So she's just looking for a home that is okay with having a half-blind pug and ready to love her until she's golden years. Yeah.
Because every animal needs love, especially Ebony. And then, so how does the adoption process work? If someone saw Ebony right now, they want to come down and adopt, is it that easy?
It is pretty easy. So we just ask, especially for a dog, your whole family comes and visits. We just want to make sure, sometimes dogs don't like every single person they meet, so we just want you to come down with the whole family so they can visit. We'll get you in there, talk with our adoption counselors a little bit about your lifestyle. So we're setting you up with the right animal. You get to meet. If you have another dog, we ask you bring them in at another time to do a dog-to-dog, just to make sure that they're going to be buddies, or at least they'll coexist, that there's not going to be any issues of jealousy or whatnot. So we just really want to set you up with the best animal.
Awesome. So very easy to adopt. Stick with us because we're going to show you some other animals that are up for adoption here at the Calgary Humane Society. Also, later on, we're going to give away some Mickey Yanofsky tickets. Yay! So see you soon. Bye, guys.
Yeah, I think we found 5 people who want that dog right here on set.
You have a pug, so don't you want a pug friend?
Love. You know, they are just the kindest, little, cutest.
Well, you can have another one.
The cutest, ugliest dog you've ever seen.
No, they're adorable.
Animals are ugly. Come on.
Well,